Good morning. I am Raffaele Minichini and I will talk about Center for Near Space projects on space habitats. The Center for Near Space mission, in few words, includes the spreading of space culture among younger generations, the promotion of the private sector of civil astronautics, and the stimulation of a private users community, without which space would only remain limited to insiders. We work with interdisciplinary and intergeneration groups, and we typically combine concept development with technology, forecast, and foresight. According with the anticipation logic, we try to understand in which futures the signals of today project a reality. And signals from today talk about a future made of modular space systems, still strongly based on research and linked to governmental investment. So the cislunar gateway is being designed and will be developed in the next few years. Its basic design philosophy remains the same of ISS, a juxtaposition of modules built on Earth, brought in lunar orbit from the Earth, and there integrated. And here stands the difference. On the basis of these bottom-up processes, we try to understand which could be specific new requirements, potentially coming from a more daily life philosophy future design of space system, made possible by technology foresight. Playing around design exercises along with this philosophy, our OrbiTecture working group involves scientists, technologists, architects, botanists, artists, sociologists, psychologists, and so on, but also students. It works on building outside our planet, trying to assess the technology capabilities projected in the medium-long term. It identifies and develops advanced requirements to be offered to space agencies and space industries for their consideration. Thus, this alternate top-down process of requirements definition may contribute to orient the development of space systems. One of these design exercises is the 100 people space substation, positioned in the Lagrangian point L1. It was designed to be an interchange space travel node for docking, refueling, and the starting gate towards Mars. A spacecraft maintenance and integration, a laboratory for microgravity research, preparation towards Moon and Mars, a resort, and a socialization space. Different contexts require different design approaches. And this is the key to our research. On Earth, the relationship between nature and artifice dominates. Whatever its size, each intervention is nothing but a fragment that becomes part of the environment. Landscapes and memory. In orbit, everything is artifice. Nature is outside. In these isolated autonomous units, the triad utilitas firmitas venustas still makes sense. Now inconceivable in building here on Earth, where the need for relationships is intense, no longer for autonomy. On the Moon, the design approach is even more different, not just to avoid reporting the trivial environment that clutter up terrestrial territories. The Moon is the location where the team OrbiTecture is focusing on. We are convinced one day we could seriously think to our natural satellite as a fourth environmental building, but how? This made us think about the general organization, location, architectural shape of a lunar human base. Our first concern was the location: lava tubes, South Pole, craters. All these could have been equally valid alternatives, but MBA suggested to concentrate on South Pole's craters. In particular, researchers state that the area around Shackleton looks particularly attractive for our purposes. In fact, the South Pole is characterized by more homogeneous temperature than the rest of the Moon's surface, and the Sun as shown by this animation taken from a 4D simulator, is circumpolar, in the sense that it never rises and it never sets. Our attention is now drawn by little craters, maximum size of 400 meters, near Shackleton, and this is the place where we think a future base should be set. A long evolutionary process has adapted man to the terrestrial context. At the moment, his presence in the fourth environment can only be occasional. Real stability will occur in unpredictable times. But the CNS believes that within this century, a cislunar city with 1,000 inhabitants could be a reality. In this scenario, the lunar habitat concerns industrial activities, research laboratories and resorts. On the Moon, every person cannot be forced into a diving suit. Micro conditions of terraforming are needed. From minimal, as on Earth cars, now all of them with air conditioning, isolated from the context, to gradually larger proportions. In the wake of the dome for Manhattan, that Buckminster Fuller calculated would be paid off in 10 years. On the Moon, gravity is about 1/6 as that on the Earth. It is therefore easy to aim to a minimum impact on the ground. We call this archaeological approach. Suspended, integrated structures capable of growing without adding blocks, but almost according to organic principles. By avoiding splitting and minimizing walks on the ground, in addition to reducing efforts, the archaeological approach safeguards what must be investigated and avoids repeating errors on the Moon that are not rare on the Earth. The stable core is made up of a 50 meters hemisphere of ice plus regolith, all taken on the Moon, with dome-pack-like compartments and pressure-temperature control systems to avoid sublimation. The hemisphere will contain air and plants, and simultaneously protects against radiation, captures energy, ensures transparency. Given the perennial low natural light condition at the lunar south pole, artificial illumination has to be particularly careful. The stable core will grow over time without interfering with activities. Structurally, the hemisphere is based on a vertical connection, approximately of 30 square meters, fixed to the ground and equipped for lunothermics, and on 3 telescopic feet, capable of adapting to the complex elevation of the lunar ground. It starts from the last floor level, with the trees and agricultural greenery, and continues gradually downwards. The initial step will be of about 750 square meters for about 15 people, capable of growing up to be able to accommodate about 100 people. Its walls are double glazed with a cavity of water, approximately of 10 centimeters thick. This technology thermally insulates and provides additional protection from radiation. The growing of the system is ensured by the specific design of the circumferential lower part of the dome, which guarantee integration of successive units. Self-propelled laboratories working in very variable climatic conditions complete our lunar system. They will have double walls full of water and a habitat equipped for 5-6 places. They walk on large robotic legs nearby the Moon base with a technology based on the ones developed by MIT and shown in this animation. Moon is near as never before in last decades, and the time to ideate the humankind's life out of our planet has finally come. Future is here, future is near, despite all the difficulties we are facing in this time. Thank you for your attention.